One thing about the red pill that really makes me mad is how they lead young men into like the false thinking of what they have now, right? And an example of this is, dang, I came up with a perfect scenario in my head and I cannot get it out. It's like, it's like when men were younger, they used to think, oh, why don't girls follow me? Or why don't girls like me, right? And they go to YouTube or they go to whatever. And then they find out, oh, the men in the red pill space they were MGTOW at the time. They'll say something like, hey, oh, all you'll need to do is either make money and be a provider by getting strong or hitting the gym, right? Because, making money is not easy. Making the type of money that the red pillars always say you need is not something that's easy. So what's the easier thing to do? Hitting the gym, right? So all these dudes, they hit the gym, they get swole, and then when push comes to shove, they still don't get girls, and they're like, what gives? What gives, right? Then cues in the red pill, MGTOW, whatever they want to call themselves, movement. And they turn around and say, well, oh, that's because women are blah blah blah. It's like a fulfilling prophecy or a rabbit hole. And I really hate how that community just kind of pushes their negative views on the younger generation, right? And it does nothing but bring negativity out. Because I think how when I was younger, I almost fell for that stuff, not even realizing that I was falling into that like mindset. I think a big awakening for me was I actually had a conversation about like the red pill women, stuff like that, with another person, and it made a click in my head to be like, yeah, this sounds crazy. Because like when you're talking in an echo chamber, when you're online, everyone is there to validate your opinions because you're in an echo chamber, right? But the moment you step outside of that echo chamber, i.e., go to someone in real life, and you try to bring up those same points, especially if it's someone who you might not even know agrees with you, it forces you to kind of reevaluate that, right? Like when I was talking to the guy, he was saying stuff that, and it wasn't even that I agreed with it, because I didn't even, a lot of the times when I was younger and I was listening like the MGTOW, red pills, whatever the community at the time when I was younger, they were like, they called themselves MGTOW. And then they went to when I got into started to get to like college age, my first time I went to college, they started to call themselves red pill, the red pill movement. um but I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh, okay, so yeah, when I was younger, I almost fell victim to this mindset because I was like, and this is why it pisses me off, because when I was like in high school, I was trying to figure out like, why don't girls like me? But I'm like, I'm a nerd. Like I'm just generally weird. Like, and there's nothing wrong with being weird, but I'm just generally weird, right? And so what do? They wanted to market off that by saying, oh, girls are XYZ. And at first, I really didn't even I didn't really listen to what I was listening to. I know that might not make any sense. It's like you hear it and it's like it goes in one ear and out the other, but some of the information stick. I don't know why I'm keeping picking up, but some of it stick, and it almost warps your mind in a way to think that, oh, this is how things always are, when it's like, no. Like, if you step outside and have a conversation with a man or a woman, you'll realize, no, this is not what it's like, not in the slightest. And I really don't like how a lot of actually a lot of those kind of really a lot of the MGTOW people have kind of died off, as they fucking should, because it's a stupid community. It's the MGTOW is literally just feminism, just but for men. Like, it's just two sides of the same coin. And not to say that all feminism is bad, but there's I would say a big chunk of that community that is a little bit on the you're kind of wild side, right? But I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta say, whatever. I think a big thing is just kind of speaking with other people, talking with other people. But what I find funny is, I actually said this in another video, about like the loneliness epidemic, and actually this brings me into another topic. Here's just one thing I don't understand about the loneliness, male loneliness epidemic, right? We see how a lot of our community, or the U.S. voted. Like, they voted for a lot of overwhelmingly, a lot of people in the red pill space are overwhelmingly white males, right? Then we see how those same white males voted, and like 60% of them voted for Trump. Cool. And 53% of the white women voted for Trump. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I'm like, how is there a male loneliness epidemic? That's where, for me, I'm not understanding. Like, I'm kind of like, what's going on here? Like, where are y'all losing me? Because I'll see dudes talk about like women this, women that, blah blah blah, and then, well, I'll say it like this. My main confusion is, if 53% of like white women voted for Trump, meaning they have the same type of mindset as in the 63% of men, white males, that voted for Trump, why are they not getting together? They obviously have the same values. I generally don't get it. That's where I'm kind of confused. Like, where's the disconnect between them, right? And yeah, this topic kind of spiraled out of control. But I mean, this is just sometimes why I just think like a lot of the red pill stuff is just it's just nonsense. Like, don't listen to that stuff. It's so stupid. It's inherently toxic, because it doesn't really do anything other than just bring negativity. I think the only good thing that it does is tells men to go to the gym. I think that's the only good thing I would say about it. Everything else is like inherently toxic. To say you can have like 5 different wives, but your girl can only be married to you, is a little bit weird. And then I find it funny that like there's certain women that share those same values, yet these two people are not getting together. Like, yet there's a male loneliness epidemic. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because I saw a video about and I didn't quite agree with the therapist, what he was saying, but I understood his anger. He was basically like, I don't care that there's a male loneliness epidemic when you guys vote that way. And I was like, okay, I get it. But then the I typed in a comment on his. I don't think he ever responded to me, but I was confused because I'm like, how is that a thing if 53% of white women voted for Trump as well? That's where I'm like, I'm just confused, you know. But I don't know. Just another of my ramblings.